Welcome to Lesson 2, Part 3. In the previous parts, we built a structure of our composition, organized layers, added foreground elements, applied effects, and refined the layout. Now we move to the most dynamic stage of our project, animating our hero element. In this lesson, we will add B layer and bring it to life. You will learn how to control layer order precisely, manage when layers appear in time, create and shape a motion path, and combine multiple properties, position, scale, rotation, opacity, into a logical animation. By the end of this video, you will not just have a movement, you will have an intentional motion. So, let's begin. Now we will add the final element to our composition, the B. If you don't have it in your source folder already, import it from your downloaded project files with the shortcut Ctrl-I. If you double-click on it while still in the source folder, it will be opened as a footage. Toggle Transparency Grid. This file includes an alpha channel, which means the background is transparent. Close the footage. Before placing the B in our main composition, let's look at a useful technique for inserting layers exactly where we want them. In the project panel, in the Sources folder, select B PNG. Instead of dragging it directly into the Composition panel, drag it into the Timeline panel. Now, without releasing the mouse, slowly move your cursor up and down between the existing layers. You will see a horizontal line appear. This line shows exactly that a new layer will be placed. Drag the layer until the line appears above the lesson title layer, but below the two foreground video layers and the solid bar. Then release the mouse. The B will now appear behind the foreground videos, but in front of the title. Why this matters? In complex compositions with many layers, dragging into the timeline gives you precise control of the layer order. Layer order determines what appears in front and what appears behind. If you accidentally place it in the wrong position, simply drag the layer up or down in the timeline to reorder it. One important note: no matter where your playhead is positioned, a newly added layer always starts at 00 seconds by default. We will adjust its timing later if needed. With the B layer selected, press Delete to remove it. Now let's try a different, more precise method. Go back to the project panel, drag BPNG again, but this time drag it to the right side of the timeline panel, just below the time ruler. If you move your mouse left or right, you see a second blue playhead appear. This second indicator shows the exact time where the layer will begin if you release the mouse. This gives you interactive control over when the layer starts. You can also move the cursor up and down to control its layer order at the same time. When you release the mouse, the layer will be added at the time you select it and in the position you choose in the layer stack. Drag the playhead back and forth. Notice something important. The B does not appear in the composition panel until the playhead reaches the layer's start point. That's because layers are only visible during their duration in the timeline. If you want to move the layer earlier or later in time, Drag the middle of the layer bar left or right. Important, do not drag the ends of the bar right now, that trims the layer. We will cover trimming in detail later. With B layer selected, press Alt-Home for Windows. This instantly moves the layer start to the beginning of the composition. Alternatively, you can just drag it manually. Finally, drag the B layer to the top of the layer stack. Layer order matters. Top layers appears in front. Bottom layers appear behind. Now the B is in front of everything, ready for animation. This introduces two essential concepts. Layer order controls depth. Layer position in time controls visibility. Together they define when and where something appears. Now we are going to animate the bee. The idea is simple. The bee will fly across the screen and land on a flower that appears in the meadow video. To make this convincing, we will animate position, so it moves. Animate scale, so it changes size while flying. And later adjust rotation, so it follows the path naturally. But let's begin with position. Right now, the bee is too large and dominates the composition. Select the bee layer, press S to reveal scale. Set the scale to around 20% or adjust it until it feels balanced. We will animate scale later. For now, just resize it. Also, using R, rotation, rotate to the right towards the flower. Instead of starting at the beginning of the timeline, we are going to work backwards. Drag the playhead to 2 seconds 10 frames. Watch the meadow video and stop, then the second bee lands on it. It will happen at about 3 seconds and 10 frames. Turn off snapping, so you can move the bee freely. Now drag the bee and place it directly on top of that flower. If needed, use the arrow keys to position it precisely. This is where the bee will end its journey. With the playhead still at 0.3 seconds 10 frames, press P to reveal position. Click the stopwatch next to position. You have now created a position keyframe at the final resting point. We are starting with the ending position. Now move the playhead to the beginning of the composition. Press Home. The time indicator jumps to 0 seconds 0 frames. Now drag the bee far to the left, even outside the visible frame. As soon as you move it, After Effects automatically creates a second keyframe at 0000. You now have a starting keyframe at 0 seconds 0 frames and ending keyframes at 3 seconds 10 frames. After Effects connects them with a straight motion path. In the composition panel, you will see a line between the 2 points. This is the motion path. The small dots along the line represent frames. The spacing between the dots shows speed. Closer together, slower movement. Far apart, faster movement. Now preview the animation. You will see the bee flies in a perfectly straight line. Technically correct, but very robotic. In the next step, we will refine the path so it feels more natural. Right now, the bee moves in a perfectly straight line. Technically correct, but not very natural. Let's shape the path so it feels more organic. Move the playhead to around 120, roughly halfway through the animation. Look closely at the motion path line in the composition panel. Near each keyframe, you should see small square points. These are Bezier handles. If you don't see Bezier handles, usually that means that the position keyframes are linear. Select one of your position keyframes in the timeline. Right-click it, Keyframe Interpolation. Look at Spatial Interpolation. If it says linear, that's why you don't see handles. Change it to Bezier or after Bezier. Click OK. Now go back to the composition panel. The handles should appear when you select the layer. By default, position keyframes use something called after Bezier interpolation. That means After Effects tries to smooth the motion automatically. To create a curve, click and drag one of the small square handles. As you pull it, a line appears connecting the handle to the keyframe. The straight motion path will begin to curve. Put the left handle upwards slightly to create a gentle arc. Now the bee no longer flies like a robot. It begins to move more naturally. You can now shape the path by adjusting these handles. Do this for both keyframes and preview the result. To make the path more interesting, let's add another point. Move the playhead again at 0120, 1 second 20 frame, exactly between the start and end. Now drag the bee slightly upward or downward. As soon as you move it, After Effects automatically creates a new position keyframe. Now you have 3 keyframes: start, middle, and end. The motion path bends to connect all 3 points. The middle keyframe has 2 handles, which control the curve entering and leaving that point. Adjust the handles for all 3 keyframes until the path feels smooth and natural. Preview and refine. The goal is to make the movement feel intentional, not mechanical. Right now, the bee reaches a flower and stops, but the stop may feel a little abrupt. To soften the landing, select the last position keyframe, the one at the end of the animation, and go to Animation, Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease In. Now preview the animation. You will see the bee slows down as it approaches the flower. Instead of stopping suddenly, it eases into position. If something feels slightly off, look at the spacing of the dots along the motion path. Remember, dots closer together, slower movement. Dots far apart, faster movement. If one section feels too fast or too slow, adjust the middle keyframe's timing in the timeline. Slide the middle keyframe left or right until the motion feels more balanced. Don't worry too much about perfect speed right now. In the next lesson, we'll learn how to control speed precisely using velocity tools. There is one more trick that makes this animation feel much more natural. Instead of manually animating rotation, we can tell the bee to rotate automatically as it follows its path. Select the bee layer, go to Layer, Transform, Auto-Orient. In the dialog box, choose Orient along path. Click OK. Preview the animation. Now the bee automatically turns as it flies along the curve. This small adjustment adds a huge amount of realism. Before finishing, save your project. Use File, Increment and Save to protect your progress. You have now animated movement, shaped a motion path, softened a landing, and added automatic rotation, all core motion design techniques. When something flies into a scene, it usually doesn't just move, it also changes size. If an object is coming closer to us, it appears larger. If it's moving away, it appears smaller. We will animate scale to enhance the illusion of depth. We already like the bee's size when it lands on the flower. So first let's lock in that final size. Move the playhead to 3 seconds 10 frames, the same time as the final position keyframe. You can do that by holding Shift while dragging the playhead to snap to keyframe, or use the keyframe navigation arrows to jump to it. With B layer selected, press S to reveal scale, if it's not already visible. Click the stopwatch next to the scale. This creates a scale keyframe at 310 using the current value. Now the final size is saved. Move the playhead to the beginning. Press Home to go to 0 seconds 0 frames. Now scrap the scale value while watching the composition panel. Our B is outside of the composition, so maybe we don't see anything. Choose for now a larger starting size, for example 50%. This makes the bee appear closer at the beginning of the animation. Important note: avoid scaling most layers above 100%. Increasing beyond 100% can reduce image quality and cause softness. If the bee becomes too large and partially visible on the left side, simply move it further off screen. Preview the animation. Now the bee not only moves across the screen, it also changes size, creating a stronger sense of depth. To make the landing feel softer, apply Easy Ease to the second scale keyframe. You can do this by going to Animation, Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease In, or right-click the keyframe and choosing it from the menu. Now your animation includes a curved motion path, smooth landing, automatic rotation, scale change for depth. It is no longer a simple movement, it's beginning to feel intentional and dimensional. The bee has now landed on the flower. Let's add a small rotation at the end, as it's excited and moving around while collecting pollen. Move the playhead to 3 seconds 10 frames, the moment when the bee lands. With the bee layer selected, press R to reveal rotation properties, and press the stopwatch to create the first rotation keyframe. So a keyframe is now created at 3 seconds 10 frames with the current rotation value. Go to the end of the composition, press End, the playhead jumps to the end of the timeline. You will see the rotation has two fields: revolutions, full 360 degrees turns and degrees. You can also scrub the degrees value to rotate the bee. Positive numbers rotate clockwise, negative numbers rotate counterclockwise. If you scrub past 359 degrees, After Effects automatically converts it into one rotation plus additional degrees. You can also click inside the fields and type exact values if you want precision. Preview the animation. The bee now rotates after landing. If the rotation starts too suddenly, select the first rotation keyframe and apply Easy Ease Out. That will make the rotation begin more smoothly. To finish the animation, let's have the bee fade out while rotating. Move the playhead to around 310 and press T to reveal opacity. Click the stopwatch to create a keyframe at 100%. Press End to go to the end of the composition. Reduce the opacity value to 0 degrees. This makes the bee fully transparent at the end. Preview and refine. Preview the full animation. Now the bee flies along a curved path, scales naturally, rotates automatically along the path, spins after landing, fades out smoothly. You can adjust timing, rotation amount, or fade speed to refine the result. This completes a multi-property animation, combining position, scale, rotation, and opacity into one cohesive motion. Now it's time for the final step, exporting your animation as a video file. Before rendering, always save your project. Go to File, Increment and Save. This protects your work in case something unexpected happens during rendering. Make sure your composition panel or timeline panel is active, not the project panel. Go to Composition, Add to Render Queue. The Render Queue panel will open. It usually appears in the same area as the timeline. In the Render Queue, find Output 2. Click on the blue file name next to it. A file dialog window will open. Choose a location on your computer where you can easily find the file later. By default, the video file name matches the composition name. You can change it if you want. Click Save. Now click the Render button. After Effects will begin processing the frames. You will see the current frame being rendered and estimated time remaining. If the composition panel is visible, you will see each frame appear as it renders. When rendering is complete, the status will change to Done. View your finished video. Open the folder where you saved your output file. Double-click on it and play it. Now we have a finished animation. If you need to render again using the same settings, you can duplicate the render item in the render queue. And one more thing, very often, once you see your first render, new ideas appear. You will want to tweak timing, color, motion, or effects. That's normal. Rendering is not the end, it's usually the beginning of refinement. You have now completed a full animation workflow: project setup, layer organization, keyframing, motion path shaping, effects, and rendering. That's a complete production cycle. And that also completes part 3 of this project. You have now built a full animation from start to finish, structured your composition, animated multiple properties, shaped a motion path, refined timing, added effects, and rendered the final result. More importantly, you didn't just move layers. You made deliberate decisions about hierarchy, motion, and visual balance. If your result looks slightly different from mine, that's normal. Small variations are part of a learning process. What matters is that you understand why each step was done and how the system behaves. Save your project one more time. In the next lesson, we will move beyond basic keyframes and begin working with more precise control of the motion and timing, where animation starts to feel truly intentional. For now, check a PDF file with step-by-step instructions for your guiding.